Everything must go. The camp in Kunduz is being cleared at top speed. The Bundeswehr wants to hand over this outpost to the Afghan army and police by October. Much is being thrown away because it would be no use in Germany. Some is being sold to Afghan traders, like these air conditioning units. The camp is being converted for the Afghans, very simply, with little need for servicing. The Germans are even building a wall through the middle as requested, because it will have two users, the army and the police. In all, equipment worth 150 million euros will remain in Afghanistan. Military vehicles won't be handed over.
They'd have needed documentation of the replacement parts for the various vehicle types. That would have meant the vehicles would be standing around, no longer deployable. And the Afghan army couldn't use them either.
In other ways, the pullout is also proceeding step by step. German troops are carrying out scarcely any of their own patrols in the north anymore. Since mid-June, the Afghans have been officially responsible for security in the country. ISAF soldiers support army and police operations but are keeping a low profile. The Bundeswehr in Kunduz believes the Afghan forces have everything under control.
2 years ago, we were the ones who guaranteed security with the Afghans. And now I can see that since my first months here in the country, the situation is reversed. The Afghan armed forces are now the peacekeepers, and we support them. So I wouldn't overestimate the factor our presence represents, but I'm optimistic about the future.
A supply convoy to Shardara, the last outpost of the Kunduz camp. Once a week, soldiers are relieved and provisions delivered. In this region, the situation is anything but secure. Time and again, there are attacks. But by now, they affect mainly the Afghan army and police. The number of civilian casualties has also risen in the past 6 months by almost a quarter. Local police are unenthusiastic about the German withdrawal.
Personally, I'd be glad if the ISAF forces were to stay here, and the population would be too. They're necessary here. We cooperate well. And if they do have to go, it would be important for that cooperation to continue.
We see what the police officer means on our way back. Suddenly, the convoy stops. Those of us at the back don't know why. Then it becomes clear. The lead vehicle has driven over a booby trap. It's an attack. One vehicle is lying on its side. There's been a big explosion. The convoy is under fire and is retaliating. The Bundeswehr and the rebels fight for hours. 5 soldiers are slightly wounded. Doubts remain as to whether the security situation is really generally better or only for the international troops, because they get into situations like this less often. Many people in Afghanistan are worried about the future, particularly personnel hired locally by ISAF. The local employees are already being threatened by criminals and extremists and don't want to speak before the camera.
Some people are under threatening, the insurgents are trying to kill him, trying to scare him what they are working for.
200 local staff feel personally threatened, and in 8 cases, the Germans have granted them asylum.
These are predominantly threats based on the fact that these employees work for us and were prominently seen in media reports. For instance, interpreters translating when German commanders were speaking, or local staff accompanying us on Bundeswehr operations.
The Bundeswehr has been fighting in Afghanistan for 11 years. Now equipment is being sent back to Germany every day. 4,800 containers, 1,200 vehicles. By the end of 2014, the ISAF mission will be over. The year after, elections are set to take place in Afghanistan. They'll be important for the country, which is still far from stable. At least at the leadership level, there's no doubt that the Bundeswehr mission has been a success.
I think it's been successful. We've contributed to peace, to an almost normal life, and we can be proud. This mission has been worthwhile, and I also hope it's sustainable.
To secure sustainable success, a few German troops are set to remain after 2014 as advisors and instructors, and, even though it's not being said officially, for emergencies. The German Defense Ministry estimates between 600 and 800 soldiers. But there are some in the Bundeswehr who believe that would put the success of the Afghanistan mission at risk.